This is going to be nothing more than using the opportunity to gloat, looking at as silly and how ignorant these folks are, trying to push free health care for illegal immigrants, but being all about tourists, not about
pockets deep, no chosen left, no sacred line, just raw tight and sign you the fuck up, stop kissing boots, create these tyrants, they need you boots, they ain't a link, just scared old husks and velvet suits. There's no such thing as a chosen prime. No bones, no sacred zone. It's a fucking code with a gold-plated leash. It's time we shattered that fantasy piece by piece.
So this whole restructuring will take some of the weight off of our Medicare and Medicaid system, make sure that they're funded well enough for our seniors who have paid their dues and paid into the system. They deserve some type of assistance and help. And it gets illegal immigrants who aren't even supposed to be here off of our system. So let's get off into this. So I'll get back to this article. Now, in this very first clip, check out Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, as Jake the Snake Tapper, is going to call this man out and expose him on CNN. And y'all know, like I know, CNN has acted like nothing more than a harm for the Democrat Party. But I will give them credit over the I don't do that often at all. But for the last week or so, they have not been letting these Democrats get on and spew their negative BS. Somebody at the top of CNN is trying to slowly bring them back to the center because they believe in it. But check out Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, Timo Obama, and Jake Tapper calling him out. And let's look at how he danced around this.
That's good about the Republicans talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about the Democrats, talk about extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, Subtitle E, and this has to do with repeal of healthcare subtitle changes. And that's typically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to get health insurance to undocumented immigrants. And I understand that's not really an accurate depiction. So what it does do is it's a lie. It's a lie. But what sport does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also, there is this provision that's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill, knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that as a message? I understand that when you do take the House, you can get whatever you want passed, but at this point, what we're doing is fighting to protect the health care of the American people against the largest cut to Medicaid ever. 14 million American citizens are going to lose their health care as a result of what Republicans did. I'm not talking about the Medicaid cuts. That document that you just showed me, that was one thing ugly bill. 14 million Americans are going to lose access to health care. Their hospitals, their nursing homes, their community-based health clinics are closing because of what the Republicans have done. These are fine. Now, one of the things the Democrats want to do is they want to repeal the $50 billion that goes to rural hospitals. How does that help? And he keeps saying 14 million. It is not 14 million Americans that will lose health care. It is millions of illegal immigrants. The Obamacare subsidy don't even expire until December 31st, 2025. And there's a whole other plan that is able to address that. So the Democrats want $1.1 trillion added to the budget. They want $500 million for NPR, for health publications, $500 million for publications like NPR, like PBS, and they want them to, you notice how Jake Tapper called out. They don't call them illegal immigrants. No Democrat ever used that term. They call them undocumented. But here's what they have in work. Lawful citizens is what they have. Lawful citizens will be able to get free health care. And it's like, what does that mean? They're not an American. They don't have a visa. They don't have a green card. But since they're here, that makes them lawful because the Democrats say so. No, it is a play on words. It's a play on words. Now, the Obamacare subsidies he's talking about, that will affect 14 million, which includes illegals, because you hear that they count these asylum seekers and those other people, they count them as Americans to the Democrats.
That's why they keep saying, this bill and we want free health care for Americans. They consider illegal immigrants more of an American than the constituents in their own cities. This is who this is about. And he called out on it. He says, oh, no, if they come to, no, we're not talking about subsidy. Because he knows 14 million people weren't going to be impacted by this. It's illegal immigrants that are impacted by this. This has nothing to do with Americans that were getting Obamacare subsidy. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Now, check out this. Jesse Waters did a short story on what's happening to the party, who's really taking over. Check this out, and I'm going to follow it up with what Nancy Pelosi had to say. Check this out right here, because it's going to blow your mind. You'll see what's going to keep, she's putting her big woman clothes, big girl clothes on, taking over. If you're enjoying this video, yes, I hit that thumbs up. I will never ask you for a cash out, and I'll never ask you for a super chat. You hit that like button, it does help spread the video out there. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, subscribe. And when you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube is having issues with notifications, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure you get notified next time I upload a new video.
Buckle up. The Democrats are staging another coup.
I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shut down, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open, and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly.
AOC is announcing, I'm captain now, and told Schumer to walk the plank. Chuck, did you hear that? The Schumer shut
Boy,
down.
Chuck, I still trip over that one. Chuck, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chuck?
Senator Schumer, can you hear?
No.
Are you here? Senator Schumer, can you hear?
Hey, boys, I can't hear.
I don't think Senator Schumer can hear me right now. Maybe governor shut down included audio on Capitol Hill. Do we even need to hear from Chuck?
Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American People's Government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far-left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge.
The White House posted this picture of Schumer as a hot dog. Don't worry, it's kosher. We also hope Chuck grills dogs better than burgers.
Now, and you remember when he did that burger stunt, you got to find out the grill wasn't on and those burgers are wrong, he put cheese on them. This was like the 4th of July thing. The Democrats are so fake. As you just heard that, AOC with her neck popping and flagging, saying that her office is open, and they can come and talk to her. So the Democrat Party is taken over by AOC. This is where Jasmine Project, she wanted to get in and fit in, but she's so radical, AOC don't care about her. But as an AOC, the Bernie Sanders wing, the millionaires, the AOC pop her neck like she's a girl from the Bronx, even though she's a suburban girl playing the role of this neck popping Hispanic Puerto Rican. Just so happens to be attractive. And she just talks so crazy on so much that she lulls those people in her area in to believe that she's right for them. But look at the Bronx, look at her district. It's worse than when she got there. But now everybody's looking at AOC saying, AOC is walking the shot. Let's check out what good of a man has to say about that. She's been between me and Brown. Let's see how she feels about being pushed out. Check this out. I think that's what she wants.
I think it's good. When I see them down president, the crowd is shut down. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, crowd was shut down. He said that is a matter of record. If you want to, you can find that. I've seen what he said from the executive office. I think Hakeem has been right on record in terms of it. I wish more people would be aware of it. It's really ambassadors to the public, so hopefully we can cover his bases.
There was a thought from a Republican that AOC is surrounding this. She said that senators are welcome to vote on the office directly. And is she writing that? I'm just wondering what AOC said. She should go to the office directly. Do you think there's credibility in that?
She's wonderful. She's a real chief player in the rest of that. We start by saying Republicans say that she's surrounded. She's not. Hakeem Jeffries is. And this takes a lot of experience, a lot of unity from politics in terms of point of view, and that's what this is. So in particular, Hakeem Jeffries did.
Nancy did not like that question. And you know what? Remember when President Trump said that he would shut the government down? If anybody remembers, the reason why President Trump said that he was willing to shut the government down is because he wanted a border wall that the Democrats stonewalled him on, and he said, I'll be happy to shut the government down for our border security. And if I find that clip, I'm going to put it in rather than let the Democrats spew the BS like they do.
Get my wool. None of us have
You
said
want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on
You've
my...
said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
That's
fair
it.
enough.
And I am proud, and I'll
We
tell you
disagree.
what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border
But legally,
security.
you shouldn't.
They're pouring into our country. We have to have border security. We have to have a wall as part of border security. And I don't think we really disagree so much. I also know that, Nancy's in a situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, and I understand that. And I fully understand that. We're going to have a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this nation as a leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
Elections have consequences.
Yes, what did you just say?
That's right, and that's why the country is doing so well.
But the president is representing the country that is hard over there. On our fact, we have to have an evidence-based conversation about what does work, what money has been spent, and how effective it is.
And as a matter of fact, while I'm talking about that, I want to take a second out, just give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Gotcha. Because right now, seniors are looking at what's going on, government shutdown, and they're concerned, what's going to happen with my Medicare? What about my Medicare? My mother went through the exact same thing. She was 65 years old, she was looking for healthcare help, and it's Medicare help, and it seems like everybody that she spoke to was just trying to sell her stuff rather than help. And luckily, companies like Chapter exist, because what Chapter does, they give people like my mother an unbiased perspective, making sure that our seniors have the best Medicare plan. If you have what you need and what you have the best, so be it. But it's least worth taking into, because it was something to find out. You've been paying for a plan that no longer covers your prescriptions, that no longer has your doctors in network. So it's less than 20 minutes, and seniors are saving as much as $1,100, $1,100 a year. And I'm sure you can find better things to do with $1,100 in your pocket rather than handing it over to somebody else. So make sure that you check out Chapter. Call the number on the screen, or you can visit the website and askchapter.org/real politics. If you call the number or if you visit the website, make sure you tell them that Brian said. But looking at what's going on with these Democrats, looking at this infighting that they got going on right now, check out what Maxine, the Queen Waters, had to say when she was asked about the government shutdown being over illegal immigrants. Check out this classic meltdown by this woman.
Democrats want to prioritize the health care of people who need it over that shutdown.
Excuse me, stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
Are Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
You're having the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who are ordinary people.
What you keep, this is what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put
You say it, stupid ass.
Stop it. This is the kind of terrorism we don't need. I invite you. No, you're not. You can't invite you. No. Great. You don't get to act that person. You're just trying to get controversy. You're not going to get it from me. You want to say health care for all. Thank you. You think I'm
Weeks with Blue Extreme, I said, because of people who would die without help from the government. You see how the Democrats think? Government is everything. They literally think that government is God. No, government is not God. Government should not dictate our lives. Government should not step in everything. As a matter of fact, government sucks. People run a business and government sucks at putting together infrastructure. Government can maintain things that are built by intelligent men or women in the private sector. Women are taught how to maintain, but government sucks at creating anything. And that's why whenever the Democrats are trying to leave money, none of their so-called projects ever work. Because they start off on the foundation with a billion dollars. Let's just throw money at it, and that'll fix everything. It doesn't. It all starts with a mentality. It all starts with a belief. And then all the money in the world and stuff, if it's not right, keep right there, it'll be squandered like billions of dollars that have been squandered under other Democrat leadership. Now, check out where Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, people Obama, went on Squawk Box, CNBC, just the other day, and was called out again. And I gotta tell you, my man Joe Kearney at CNBC, I don't even know why Hakeem Jeffries goes on his show. Because every time I play, he's been bringing it to him. Check this out. If you bring up this clip, let me show you where the Democrats really failed. At Wednesday night, when the government shutdown started, they decided they were going to live stream the shutdown. And they were going to show how many people are in support of the Democrats. Wait till you see that after this clip. Check this out.
Who shut the government down? That's not our approach. Well, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If the government shuts down, it's their decision to do it. But this is a continuing resolution. And it's going to happen. All these things that you want to do, there's no way any of them are going to be negotiated by the time this happens. And if you shut down the government, you last time, Democrats point out, you lose FEMA, you lose troop pay, you lose all these different things that are so important to Democrats when they're on the other side of this. You're not going to get all these other things settled. You need to do the CR to get the government funded and then return to this and do it in the normal course of business for Congress. We don't want to shut the government down.
As you see, even Joe, nobody is believing the BS that the Democrats are saying. Even Joe said, listen, man, none of this stuff is going to happen. Y'all want free health care for illegal immigrants? It's not happening. It's a non-negotiable. Now, as you heard me say, the Democrats decided that they were going to do a live stream and show what type of support they got from the American people as they pushed back against Trump. And guess what? The live stream failed miserably. Check this out. Hakeem Jeffries humiliated his broadcast after just dozens, and you heard it right, dozens tune in to his government shutdown live stream. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries attempted to wage the digital war over the government shutdown early Wednesday morning, but his live stream stunt backfired in humiliating fashion. Jeffries promised Democrats would broadcast the shutdown until almost the bitter end, Politico's Adam Rand reported. Instead, viewers saw stops, starts, and glitches. At times, according to Rand, just a few dozen viewers were watching the YouTube stream. Republicans immediately mocked the failed spectacle, which featured a rotating cast of Democratic House members and influencers. Democrats, meanwhile, were left embarrassed as some admitted their messaging idea was poorly executed. Jeffries streamed live on YouTube 5 separate times across Tuesday and Wednesday. The total from those streams amounted to less than 50,000 total combined views. So you got all of these Democrat members, the House Minority Speaker, and all of this, and Nancy Pelosi spoke, and all of these so-called power players. Wait till you hear the number that showed up, ultimately, total combined. So the total views across Tuesday and Wednesday are less than 50,000. Wait till you hear the views of the live stream. Democrats allowed the shutdown in part to demand health care for illegal aliens. When Republicans refused to cave, Jeffries and his allies took to YouTube and other platforms to complain, but almost no one tuned in. Wren described the production as occasionally awkward, repetitive, and mostly on message. He added that it carried the feel of a throwback telethon with none of the charisma or surprise. Few frontline Democrats even showed up on camera. Only 4 of 26 members in competitive districts actually participated. So only 4 out of 26 even took place that are in competitive districts. Even Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, a Democrat from New York, stayed away from the spectacle, and she essentially lives on social media. We know AOC loves to be on the camera. She stayed away from it. Wren reported Democrats failed to field anyone live between 2:30 and 5:30 a.m. Nobody watched live for 3 hours. Instead, Airing recorded reruns of earlier remarks in which they slammed Republicans. As Jeffries' representative declined to comment on that embarrassment when offered a chance to address it by Wren. A Jeffries representative declined to comment on that embarrassment when offered a chance to address it by Wren. Meanwhile, one person close to Jeffries acknowledged reality. Trump is going to do something crazy as soon as the government shuts down. And that'll be the story, one House Democratic aide said. Numbers do not lie, even if Democrats do. Their live stream was supposed to project strength and unity against an administration they recklessly portray as out of touch. Instead, it showcased the weakness and desperation of a party that's in big trouble. We are committed to truth and accuracy. Okay, that's it. So the total views of the live stream, I'll show it to you, was around, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go real fast. I'll call it, y'all. live stream. We go to Hakeem the Dream Jeffries live stream. I want to say it was 256 total. They have a, oh, here we go. 152 was at its peak. Total, it's been like 200 and something. That was 9 hours, okay? This is the Democrat Party. Got Hakeem Dream Jeffries and Nancy, the drunk Pelosi, allegedly. You've got all these other radicalized left-wing extremists all taking the podium and slamming Republicans, supposed to get the people right. They couldn't even draw 1,000 people in. Someone like my videos get more views than the government, the Democrat, Republican, the Democrat politicians, then they could put in my videos draw more views than theirs. But they act like they got the American people's support. No, that's the mainstream media that spews propaganda and talks like there's so much support for the Democrats. All of these ICE detention protests, if you look at them, their faces are covered. They're young, white, black people that are unemployed and being paid. Even if one protest, only one person there had a job. One guy just got to work at Taco Bell. That was everybody else's job. There is no support for the Democrats. This shutdown is the Democrats' fault. And finally, we got the mainstream media calling them out. My son is in the military. This impacts my family directly. But I'd much rather subsidize my son right now and help him out paying his bills while this shutdown is going on than to give the Democrats a chance to give illegal immigrants free health care and add $1.1 trillion to our deficit and to give $1 to those left-wing radical outlets like NPR or PBS. Screw that. Because in administrations in the past, the Republicans would fold and give the Democrats what they want. But give them a nickel dollar. The Democrats don't fold. They don't bend. They make the Republicans bend. And so now that we're talking about bend, we got a strong president, and he's not bending the knee. Head on. The Democrats did this shutdown, and I'm glad finally the American people are starting to see it. And this is where Elon Musk comes in. But we got to give a big shout out to Elon. Agree with him or not agree with him. If it wasn't for X being available, where we could share information without the fear of being censored, without the fear of being blocked or blacklisted, imagine how many untruths would still be going on without the people being able to share it. Even with President Trump's food soldier, that's not enough. Because a lot of Democrats are on X too, regardless when they sit about Elon, they're on it too. And they might not want to acknowledge it, but I know they sit up and they watch these things and they're getting weary. But they know if they try to flip, they'll get eaten up by their friends, their base. You know how the Democrats are. If you're free thinking, they'll attack you. On Republicans, if you're free thinking, you're welcome. As a matter of fact, anybody that's trying to just be groupthink and the Republican side doesn't fit in. But we don't operate like that. If we all can agree with it, if we all see the benefits, then we'll do it. But if not, somebody does that, another thing will speak up. That's what makes this America. So I just wanted to bring you this just to show you. The blame is already on the Democrats. It's already backfiring. I don't think this is going to last long at all. Because think about it. Whose base are more of the people that are on welfare, Republicans or Democrats? Whose base are more of the people with single programs, Republicans or Democrats? Whose base has the most government employees, Republicans or Democrats? See what I'm saying? Their base. A large majority of their base are on Medicaid. A large majority of their base are on these welfare programs. A large majority of their base are in government jobs. So this is the Democrat shutdown that's really going to pressure a lot of Democrats. But we'll see. Right now, it's not going right for them. So I just wanted to bring you this. If you hung out and you watched the video up to this point, I want to thank you for the top 10 bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and be great. I'm Brian Maxwell. Look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, Dylan.
And here's this guy, a foreign head of state, let me restate, is totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist, is saying Americans don't have that right, and he's going to do some kind of secret pressure campaign on Elon Musk to censor X because it bothers Israel. You know, that's the point at which you just say, no, this is a brutal and brutish propaganda campaign, where anyone who disagrees with anything is immediately slandered and smeared.
Tucker Carlson just blasted Benjamin Netanyahu for calling for censorship of the American people. Their voice is critical of Israel. This is from a clip where he was caught talking to influencers about the strategy to expand Zionism in the United States. Tucker gets into why this is so absurd and one of the most deplorable aspects of the Israel First mentality. So let's get right into it. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
It's a demand that the people whose job it is, whose sacred duty it is to defend and represent us, our leaders, both at the Pentagon and all throughout the U.S. government, that they do that they stand up and defend us against all potential threats, against all foreign countries to the extent they need to, and that they do not prostrate themselves before a foreign nation. That's just basic. Why have a government, especially a strong government, if it's taking orders from another weaker government? And that is the state of play. And it has been for a very long time. And they're not even pretending, to such an extent that the prime minister of Israel goes on television to openly participate in, meddle in internal American politics, taking sides, attacking people, Americans. You wouldn't think it would be his business. He's not an American leader. He's not even an American citizen. Going on television to attack Americans because they're not fully on board with sending billions more to a country of 9 million people?
Yeah, just think about that. That's the twisted nature of the U.S.-Israeli relationship, where the U.S. bankrolls Israel. It's given it $30 billion since October 7th. And before October 7th, it was $4 billion a year, getting sucked into their wars, sucked into that mentality of empire building in the Middle East that has wanted nothing for Americans other than countless adversaries of the United States, and it expanded tensions for the United States from it. That's the truth. And this guy has the gall to criticize Americans, the taxpayers that finance is security. And it's not security, it's warfare, and it's genocide in Gaza, by the way.
And in case you think that's an overstatement, here is the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, commenting on American politics.
He talked about the woke right. And he said, I call it the woke right. That's a brilliant. The woke right. Because these people, they're not getting different.
The best thing about this job, they don't drug test.
But they're actually needed on some of the things. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influences. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly,
are you a penetrators or a panic fan?
And the most important one is social media. The most important purchase that is going on right now is glass. $6. Number one. And I hope it goes through because it's can be consequential.
Yeah, he hopes it goes through because Larry Ellison and Andreessen Horowitz are prepared to buy it, devout Zionist stooges. And the reason that they want to buy it, presumably, at least partially, is because TikTok was allowing imagery to come out about what his evil atrocities are in Gaza for the first time. You know, they couldn't count on MSNBC and Fox News and CNN to not post that sort of material, but it was going viral on TikTok. This was opening American eyes to the atrocities of Israel for the first time in many ways. And woke right, that's just a bludgeon that actually is a woke tactic to, you know, denounce people rather than taking on their arguments. It's the same thing the liberal establishment did when you said, hey, men can't become pregnant, and I don't think there is 52 genders. It is returned with, you know, sexism or racism or classism or homophobia. And this is the same thing that they do. He's criticizing Americans for being critical of Israel, despite the fact that his government is being bankrolled by the United States. It's pernicious. It's insane. And he, if anything, this cut out some of the other parts of this where he talks about weapons of war being used against voices he doesn't like. And you have to adapt to that. So we're going to take over TikTok, and then he flirts with taking over Twitter or X.
And the other one? What's the other one? That's most important.
We're gonna stop it right there because I'm gonna finish it. Once I finish this here, it's fucked up. How we being played by all these elite assholes. It's time for this shit to stop. And stop it right there. I'm Mr. Bassett. Weasel News.
All right, we're gonna go to commercials and we'll come come back with the judge's decision.
So.
Yeah.